From food delivery to agriculture and FMCG, Nigeria's supply chains are expanding fast, but one persistent bottleneck remains: mid-mile logistics. Joining me now is Tobi Obasa, co-founder and CTO of Haul 247, a leading tech-enabled logistics and warehousing platform working with brands like Flour Mills, TGI, and Right Foods. With a background in tech, finance, and operations, he's helping to redefine how goods move across Nigeria and the region. Welcome to the show, Tobi. Great to have you.
Thank you very much.
What makes the mid-mile such a pain point in Nigeria's supply chain?
Okay, thank you very much. So I'll start by defining what the mid-mile is, right? So we have the first mile, we have the middle mile, and we have the last mile.
Okay.
So what's most common to consumers is the last mile, because these are the people they see. But the first mile, which is from production to imports, and then we have the middle mile, where we play heavily, is from imports or production to distribution centers or warehousing.
Okay.
Right, and that is a major pain point because it relies heavily on a lot of infrastructure. Right, so for example, you have to move the goods from the production manufacturing centers to the distribution centers for the companies, and from those distribution centers, it then can reach the consumers. But if the goods don't get to the distribution centers or get to the warehouses, it's very difficult to get to the consumers, where you and I can actually get to buy these foods or products, right? So it's very important, and the missing link there is a lot of infrastructure, bad roads, terrible assets. So you have a lot of asset deficit or asset gap. For example, in context, in Nigeria, we just have about 40,000 thereabouts trucks.
Okay.
And compared to European countries where you have about 6.5 million, right? Average country will have about 300,000 trucks. So you see that there's a big gap. And looking at our geographical size, looking at the population of Nigeria, right? There really needs to be that,
Yeah, I'll come back to that, because you keep mentioning trucks. And I think, what about rail, freight, rail, transportation by rail? But, logistics can actually account for like 75% of production costs.
Yeah.
I think you kind of answered why that may be, but what are some of the things driving that besides infrastructure?
So I think, of course, you mentioned that. So that's one, is the lack of assets, right?
Okay.
And you see sometimes also you have diesel costs, right? And it's common when diesel prices go up, definitely affects supply chain, and then that translates into the cost of goods, right? But a lot of that also depends heavily on infrastructure, right? When there are no vehicles to move these goods, where there's scarcity, where there is the truck drivers or warehouses have issues, right? There's a bottleneck in between. Then all those cost goes higher, and then the cost of goods to the end consumer increases, right? So that is the major pain point, and that's what we are trying to solve, in our company. Yeah.
So you work with a lot of manufacturers. I mentioned some of their names. What are they doing to sort of stay competitive with regards to their mid-mile strategies? How are they adapting?
So a lot of companies to work with, right? What we've been able to do is to see how we could effectively pull all these assets together. I think one of the main key words is efficiency.
Okay.
Right? So how do we better utilize the existing assets, right? Because you see sometimes some of the individual truck owners, right, can't have access to the
so these
FMCGs.
are third-party truck owners.
Third-party truck owners.
So what is your role in that value chain?
So basically we are aggregators, right? So we pull all these assets that are idle. I mean, for example, a company like, say, Unilever and all the big FMCGs wouldn't want to deal with, individual single truck owners. So we pull all these assets. Then we serve our customers with all the pool of assets, right? But furthermore, what we're trying to do is to see how we can make those assets even much more reliable to our customers. So looking at how we can then pool asset financing, right, to strengthen the dedication of these assets to serve our customers better. So that would in turn solve the problem of availability.
Sure. I'm wondering now, from a layman's perspective, I'm thinking to myself, why doesn't Hall 247 actually own the trucks? Is there a barrier to entry? Is this just a more efficient business strategy? What's the...
So, I mean, I think it's a strategy, right? And for us, we're a tech company.
Okay, all right.
So, asset light, tech driven.
Right.
So basically how we utilize technology to make the process more efficient. Right. First, and then we then start to invest in the sector, right, by making increasing the number of assets that is in the sector. So first, we're a technology-driven company.
Yeah. So let's look at the investor perspective. I think of you as a company in the digital space, and I'm thinking return on investment. What is the value proposition here in terms of where is the meat really coming from? Imagine I wanted to set up a Hall 247 competitor today, and I'm thinking I need to pitch this to an investor in Silicon Valley or in Nigeria. You know, where really is the value along the value chain? Is it haulage? Is it the aggregation? Is it the digital technology tools? What is it?
So I mean, I think that, you know, wherever you play, you make money. Okay. Right.
You also want to give me trade secrets. Give me trade secrets.
So it's a big market, right? And I mean, you see even people playing in the last mile, right? So bike deliveries and, you know, the small size deliveries, right? So we then feed those guys, right? So for us, I mean, we decided to do the hard work. Right, of course, with more risk, there's more
returns.
Right, but I mean, the hard work there is how do we get these goods from the manufacturing plants to you know, the various distribution centers, because you know raw materials come from the north, and it has come to the west or south where there's a lot of the manufacturing companies and the plants, and then the final goods have to then go from the west or southwest to the east and to the north. So it's like a, you know, symbiotic relationship of some sort. And then what moves that is, you know, the supply chain, trucking, which accounts for at least 90% of the way goods are moved in the country.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so let's kind of take this to a regional space. Of course, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area is meant to help unlock into the billions of dollars that are being left on the table in interregional trade. Are your operations, or do you see scope within the industry to do mid-mile from a regional perspective, mid-mile logistics?
Very good question. Yes, I mean, for us, we are looking at expanding into certain countries. And of course, it's because of this after all agreement, right? Because there's no reason why we can't move goods from, you know, Lagos, for example, to Benin, to Togo, to Accra, right? And all these are connected by road.
Do you currently do any of that?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet, and it's deliberate, right? We're still deepening our, you know, market in Nigeria, but by Q4 we will be entering a new country, right? So basically, for us, it's very strategic, right? And we're looking at, I mean, technology will make it easy for us. And kind of the way we work is that our clients are a bit distributed. So they are multinationals. And so they exist in all these other markets. So for us, it's a plug and play kind of approach where we just take our technology and take our system and then we replicate it in those markets.
Yeah, so let's unpeel the technology side of it, the innovation side of it. You know, I'm sort of imagining that you have some sort of central control room where you're seeing Nigeria's entire
seeing everybody.
mid-mile logistics. But how is technology and artificial intelligence actually enabling some of the work you do, and what sort of new trends are you seeing that are really going to help catalyze this mid-mile logistics space?
Yeah, so I mean, technology is the art of what we do, right? And for us, the way we've done it is, I think first is not just building technology for technology's sake, but looking at our users, right? So from a user-centric point of view, we have two major sides to it. We have the clients that we serve, we have our truck partners, warehouse partners. And we have to provide technology that better suits each party at the point where they're most proficient in, right? So we have our app, we have a platform, our logistics partners can go see where their goods are. We don't just track the trucks, we track the products. Right. So that makes us way more efficient than, you know, what's out there. So they can see visibility into where their goods are at every point in time. And then even for the truck owners, they can see utilization, right? You know, typically the trucks go one way, right? We are able to say, okay, when you're coming back, you know, plug in, you know, and pick up some goods back, right? So there they can see that utilization, you know, if they were not working with us, what would they have been, you know, generating in terms of revenue? So I mean, that's what technology can do, right? And in that process is just simplifying the experience,
right?
Providing visibility and then data. Right. We've been doing this for some years now. So basically the data we're collecting, we're able to then utilize that for more data decision driven strategy. So we look at what we are doing, we're able to predictive analytics, right? To say, okay, based on what we are doing, what can we do in the next quarter? What can we do in the next future? Where should we be playing and all that? So that's really available to us.
Yeah, and you know, when I did the intro to the segment, you know, your client base seems to be more FMCG. In terms of the sectors that are really off-taking this service, are you seeing a pivot towards new industries? What is possible within the domain of this trucking? That's the first question. And then secondly, you would have seen recently that Dangote talked about CNG-powered trucks.
Yeah.
That's distributing petroleum
yes.
products.
Yeah.
Are those energy-efficient models possible within the domain of the types of distribution in terms of products that you provide, and how is that product space diversifying?
Yeah, very good question. I think if we look at it, right, energy efficiency is coming to play, right? Global warming and all that. And Nigeria produces a lot of gas, right? So yes, CNG is the way. We are introducing even into the market or financing solution, right?
For the fleets,
for the trucks, right? Because we've seen that gap, right? And we're looking at how do we best fill it, right? So introducing CNG trucks, introducing diesel trucks. So it's still going to be an hybrid model where we still have diesel, but we're introducing CNG, right? And yes, it can work. Especially for some certain short distances. But now even the CNG gas is being distributed. You have a lot of filling stations across the route. So route optimization for CNG trucks will be very important so that, you know, aside for the large capacity CNG trucks, we have ones that can actually get to the north, right? And so all those, it's just basically route optimization where they can refuel, you know, at certain points along the way. Yes.
And then the product diversification, the industries you're serving, are you saying?
Yes, currently FMCGs, manufacturing, we have chemical, we have, parts, manufacturing, not agro.
Okay,
right?
not agro. You're not in the agro because
so we do really agro and we do non-agro.
Okay, you do, because I was going to say we need logistics and supply chains in agro. Yeah.
So we do agro and we do non-agro, right? And so for agro, we also focus a lot in warehousing. Okay. Right. So we're not just trucking. So we are a platform that integrates trucking.
Okay, but you don't own the warehousing assets.
So we don't also own.
Okay. So you're like literally enabling a marketplace.
Airbnb for haulage and
absolutely. This is really great stuff. Thank you so much. Very fascinating discussion, Tobi Obasa.
Thank you very much.
And maybe you'll see me as a competitor in that space.
You're welcome. I mean, it's the sky is large.
Yeah, I love the way you're really leveraging digital innovation technology.